Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I have almost the entire collection of the Friends/Revolution collection here today. I don't have any of the crunchies or makeup bags, but I did pick up all makeup items plus the mirror to show it to you today. We're gonna be swatching everything and I will tell you my opinion of every single product in this collection. The first thing I wanted to start with is the mirror. As you can see, it's in this gigantic box and you can pick it up for £10. And once you take it out of the packaging, this is how it looks like. Now, it's obviously not a photo of the actual door that they have in the TV show. It's more like a cartoonish version of it. The quality of the mirror itself is absolutely fine. However, it's made out of completely plastic and I think the handle itself is actually quite wide, so I'm not the biggest fan of it. However, generally speaking, I don't really use mirrors like this because I like to have both of my hands free when I'm doing my hair or my makeup, so I don't really know if other mirrors are easier to hold or not. But yeah, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of this one. It's just quite wide and I think it's a bit childish. If you are an absolute fan of Friends, then obviously this is a must-have item for you, but for me, I am not the biggest fan of it. Let's just say that. I just feel like it would have looked a billion times better if they took an actual photo of the door like they did on the packaging of some of the makeup, and if the handle was maybe round or just a little bit more narrow to make it more comfortable to hold. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about is the other part of this collection that I'm not really that satisfied with, and that is the lip glosses. There are 6 of them representing the 6 main characters, and I feel like you get a quite nice variety of shades, including a clear one, so I was quite happy about that. However, I found these lip glosses quite tacky, quite sticky, and when you try to apply them, they feel quite syrupy. They also have a very strong sweet scent, which is not a problem for me, but it might be a problem for some of you. And because it's a lip gloss, it will glide on quite patchy. It is a quite sheer formula and you can't really build it up due to it being a lip gloss. So you are gonna have some problems with darker shades like this one. When you apply the initial layer, it might go on quite even, but when you try to swipe the applicator over the same area again, it is going to remove some of the product. So when I was swatching them on my arm and on my lips, I had quite a difficulty applying them evenly. So I'm not the biggest fan of these. They are £6 each, and as you can see, they are in a quite chunky big bottle, and as you can see, they have a quite large applicator. Just to give you an idea how big they are exactly the same size as the Tarte Shape Tapes applicators, so quite big, and I feel like they make it quite difficult to apply the product precisely. However, because reapplying it makes it so uneven, I feel like they wanted to allow you pick up as much product as you can, so you won't need to go back on the same area over and over again, because then it would take you ages to actually finish an even application of this lip gloss. Now let's jump into the swatches. I'm gonna first arm swatch each of them and then I will show you how they look like on my lips. So the first one we're talking about is the color called Rachel. This is a clear gloss with very subtle rose gold shimmer particles in it. This is actually probably my favorite from the bunch because it's a clear lip gloss. I feel like this is a very versatile product. You can apply it on top of other ones. I also found this slightly less tacky than the other ones. So altogether, this must be my favorite from this lip gloss collection. I think it's a really nice clear lip gloss. The next one is the one called Joy, which is a brown toned nude according to Revolution's own description of the shade. I think this is a shade that will suit a lot of people because it's a gorgeous light nude shade. It certainly looked quite nice on my lips, but again, I just don't really like the formula of these lip glosses, so I wasn't the biggest fan. The next one I have here is the shade called Chandler, which is a coral toned nude. This is certainly a lot more pink than Joey was. Joey has more grey in it and the shade Chandler has more pink in it. I don't really know how they decided the names for these shades. I don't really think this is a guy's shade, but whatever. The next shade is called Monica, which is a medium mauve neutral with silver shimmering. So in Monica you can definitely see those silvery shimmery particles. I don't know though if I would call them silver. When you look at the shade, it actually looks more like a blue shimmery particle. I did also find Monica being a little bit less tacky and less thick than the other ones. So I think Rachel and Monica are the best in this collection. I don't know why, but having that shimmery particle just make them less tacky and less thick and made the formula a lot better. The next shade is called Ross, and this is a deep plum toned pink according to their website. I would personally call this shade a blue toned pink. I think it has a lot of blue in it. It is a gorgeous shade generally speaking. However, because it's quite dark and like I said, these shades don't really go on evenly, I had a lot of difficulty applying the shade Ross and Phoebe. So because of that, it's really not one of my favorite ever, but it is a gorgeous shade. I think it's more of the formula that I didn't like. And last but not least, the shade Phoebe is a deep wine shade. It's a really deep purple color. Again, I absolutely love this shade. I have a ton of similar shades in my lipstick collection. However, due to the formula of these, I had a really hard time applying it and I didn't really like it. So those were the products I didn't really like out of the way, and now let's get into the better part of this collection, which are the lipsticks and the eyeshadow palettes. So to finish the lipsticks before we jump into the eyeshadows, which I feel like are always the main attraction in every single makeup collection release, I want to quickly show you the 3 lipsticks that we have in this collection. Now, to be quite honest with you, when I was picking up these products, I was actually considering not picking up the lipsticks because I found the packaging really ugly and I already have a lot of lipsticks in my collection, so I thought I might skip them, but I did pick them up and I'm really happy I did. So just to show you, the reason I didn't like them is because the packaging looks really simple and especially online really underwhelming. As you can see, you have the lips kind of representing the shade you're gonna have inside on the top of the cap, and just the character's name on the outside. We have the 3 female characters, so Rachel, Phoebe and Monica in this mini lipstick collection, and I must say, despite how the packaging looks like, it's really good quality. Once you hold it in your hand, it actually feels like a higher end packaging, and I was really happy about that. The other thing I was really happy about is that despite how dark these lipsticks look like online, they are really wearable. They are a lot more sheer than they appear online, a lot more muted, and I feel like all 3 of them are absolutely gorgeous and I just love all 3 of them. And to be quite honest with you, I wish they did 6 lipsticks and only 3 lip glosses instead the other way around, which they decided to do, because these lipsticks are beautiful formula, gorgeous packaging, very wearable shades for the same price as the lip glosses, and I feel like the quality of them is a million times better. So to show you the swatches of these, let's start with Rachel, which is described as a soft mauve shade. It's a very, very gorgeous shade, quite cool toned, but because it's so sheer, I feel like it's gonna look good on every single skin tone. I think it's a beautiful everyday shade. Once again, it's a lot lighter than it appears to be on the packaging, and I absolutely love this shade. I think it would suit almost any skin tone. Absolutely beautiful. Then we have the second one, Monica, which is described as a soft peachy pink, and it's actually the shade that I'm wearing in today's video as well. For me, this shade, it's my lips but better color. Beautiful, beautiful. I feel like any time of the year you could wear this to an occasion, to work, to the grocery shop. It's just a beautiful color that will suit every skin tone. At least it does suit mine very well, and I absolutely love it. And then the last shade is called Phoebe, which is described as a deep pink, but quite honestly, I would call this more like a burgundy shade. Again, it's beautiful. I don't normally wear lipsticks this dark, so I'll be honest with you, out of the 3, this is my least favorite. However, with the Christmas coming, I think you will find a lot of occasions to wear this color, and again, generally speaking, these colors are not patchy at all. Very easy to apply, great formula. It feels very, very great on your lips. I think these lipsticks are absolutely amazing. So if you want to pick up any lip product from this collection, I would highly suggest you picking up the lipsticks instead of the lip glosses. Okay, so now let's talk about eyeshadow palettes. First of all, we have 3 smaller eyeshadow palettes in this collection. They have 9 shades each inside, and they cost £8, which I feel like is a really, really affordable price. Again, they're named after the female characters from the movie, and they have the same picture on them as the lipsticks do. So you have Phoebe, you have Rachel, and you have Monica. And I'm not gonna show you any makeup looks using these in today's video, because I'm gonna have another video coming when I do one makeup with each of these, just to give you an idea how they work and give you some inspiration of how to use them. But I'm gonna show you swatches of these palettes, and I'm gonna very quickly tell you what I think about each of these palettes. So first of all, we have Phoebe, which I'll be honest with you was the most appealing to me when I first looked at these palettes. I felt like this has absolutely everything, including the shade Science Boy, which is gorgeous. The other shimmery shades in this palette are alright. I did really like Bike, which is a gorgeous icy blue shade, but my absolute favorite was definitely Science Boy. I find it really hard to create any makeup look using solely this palette, because the shades are so light, and you even have a shade called Ditzy, which is a bronzy gold shade that is darker than any of the matte shades in the palette. So this is a gorgeous little palette, as long as you have something else as well to use. And I feel like their thought process behind that was that because this is a collection, and if you like Friends, then you're probably going to pick up as much as you can. They think you are going to pick up at least one other of these small palettes, because the other 2 do have darker shades, and you're just gonna use the dark shade from that palette. Or, well, let's be honest, it's probably not your first eyeshadow palette, so you probably have other palettes with a darker shade. And I think that's just a bit of a bummer, because, for example, they have this shade here called Lobster, which I can't really imagine pairing with any other shade from this palette. So I feel like if they put that shade into another of these palettes, they could have given us a dark shade to actually make all the other shades work in this palette. So whilst I find this palette the most pleasing to look at, I feel like it's also the most useless palette on its own out of the three. Then we have the next one called Rachel, and I feel like this must be my favorite out of the three as far as usability goes. You have gorgeous shades in here, you have brown shades, you have this gorgeous hot pink pop of color, you have golds, and you have a matte white shade as well. I think this palette really can be used on its own. You don't really need anything else because you have light brown, medium brown, dark brown, you have 4 different shimmery shades, you have shade to blend, you have shade to put in your inner corner. So this is the most complete palette out of the three. Gorgeous color story, I absolutely love this one. And last but not least, we have the Monica palette, which I have the same feeling as I did about the Phoebe palette. This palette is just too dark. It's the complete other end of the spectrum. It would have been so much better if they mixed up the shades of the Phoebe and the Monica palette, because the Monica palette is so dark, you don't have any light shade to brighten up areas of the face. You just get this dark red, dark brown, dark orange. Everything is really dark in this palette. So again, I feel like there is a really limited number of looks I can create using this palette unless I pick up another palette to complete a look. Other than that though, the quality of the packaging of these palettes is absolutely amazing. I feel like they are absolutely on par with higher end eyeshadow palettes. They feel the same as the Jeffree Star mini palette feels like. The shades are beautiful as well. Like I said, my only issue was just the fact that you have this really dark and this really light palette. They should have mixed up the shades of those. They are £8 though, and they are very beautiful palettes for £8. If you have a friend who's a big fan of Friends, this is a gorgeous present to give them, especially if you pair it up with one of the lipsticks. For £14, you have a gorgeous gift to give. And now let's talk about the big palette, which is huge. I absolutely love the packaging on this, and it's a really good quality packaging as well. As you can see, you get a ton of different shades inside here. I'm gonna jump right into the swatches of these because that's gonna take a while to swatch and show you. So as you can see, we have a very nice range of shades in here. We have shimmery shades and we have matte shades. We have loads of pinks. We have some gorgeous cocky shades. I love the shade Ross. Again, I'm just missing some dark shades here. A part of the Mr. Geller shade, there's really nothing dark in here. And whilst it's not a big problem if you want to create a very simple look, you know, just use one shade in the crease and then pat on a shimmery shade with your finger, that's fine. But if you want to create something more artistic, I'm really missing those dark shades. I'm not saying necessarily black, but I feel like some of these pink shades, for example, could have been replaced with a very dark grey, a very dark purple, a very dark blue. I don't know, I'm just not sure that this palette is again very usable on its own. I must say that the 3 shades in the middle though, Ugly Naked Guy, Mr. Heckles and Estelle, are gorgeous highlighter shades. I don't know if that's the reason they made them bigger, because they wanted to give you highlighters with this palette. But basically these 3 shimmery shades cover everyone's highlighter needs, and oh my, they are beautiful. They apply so gorgeous on the skin. You can really build them up if you want. They don't emphasize the texture. I really love these shimmery shades in the middle of the palette. I feel like the shimmery shades are quite overwhelming in this palette though. Out of the 27 shades you get in this palette, there are only 8 matte shades. Everything else is shimmery. Again, if you you already have a makeup collection and you're gonna use this palette with other eyeshadow palettes, that's fine. There are some gorgeous shimmery shades in here, and we all know that Revolution is really good at making shimmery shades. However, if you want to use this palette on its own, similar to the Urban Decay Born to Run palette, you are going to have problems because, as I said, without those dark shades, you can't really complete a look. I mean, you can, but it's just not gonna look as flattering as it would have if you had a dark shade to really darken up certain areas and create contrast in your eye makeup look. So I don't know if they were relying again on you picking up the smaller palettes as well, but again, even in the smaller palettes you don't really get those dark shades, so maybe they were more thinking of younger audience, which is just a bit strange because I feel like today's teenagers are not gonna be as big fan of Friends as the 30-40 years old generation of today. I feel like those are the people who really got into watching it and rewatching it a billion times. But like I said, the makeup products themselves do seem to be made for more of a younger audience. So I'm a bit confused about that, but nevertheless, like I said, the shades themselves are gorgeous and I would absolutely recommend picking them up, but I just don't know how much they work on their own. Because let's be honest, if you are going to get a palette as big as this one, especially for £20, which is quite expensive for Revolution and for a drugstore eyeshadow palette, it's also quite heavy as well. So if you're gonna take this one with you because, oh wow, there's a lot of shades in there, it's so versatile, you need something else with this. But then why would you take this one? Why wouldn't you take another palette that already has all of those shades inside that you need? So I'm a bit confused about that, but as long as you're happy with lighter eyeshadows and you don't really mind not darkening up your outer corner or not having that much contrast in your makeup look, then this is a really nice eyeshadow palette. Like I said, the shimmery shades are outstanding in it. I do really love quite a lot of the shimmery shades in here. So that's it for today's video, guys. That's all the makeup I have from the Friends X Revolution collection. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, please don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I would love to have you here, and because I'm gonna have 2 more videos coming, one using all the small eyeshadow palettes and another one using the large eyeshadow palette to create 3 different looks to give you some inspiration and ideas of how they perform and how you could probably use them. So I will see you guys very soon. Take care of yourself until then. Bye.